Hi, guys. All right, they say that when you're the first speaker, it's usually the hardest. You know why? Because you either are chosen to be the first one to either set the tone or you're the worst one. So they put you there so everything just goes up from there. I hope it's not the case. But before we get into the serious stuff, I want to do something fun. So let's do a selfie. I'm going to start with a selfie. Right, I want you to smile. 1, 2, 3. Here. 1, 2. All right. That's just to break the ice. Okay, so what I've been asked here to talk about was why I chose engineering, electrical engineering particularly as a field of the study or the profession that I would be taking or I'm doing now. What I want to talk about now is our life, our skills, or our things that we want to learn as we go and decide. So it's not about why I want engineering, why you choose engineering. I can get into the life experiences, but what I want you to know here or take out of this is what are the things you have to know when you want to make that decision. So why am I gonna choose this particular career for my life? All right, so let's. Can I have the? Oh yeah, sorry. May clicker pala ako. All right, I forgot. All right, so how do we choose the course? Hirap naman ito. How do we choose the course that leads to your career? First is you have to consider, better. All right, you have to consider your personality. Why did I choose engineering? I was a person who loved challenge. I wanted to do something adventurous, do something that's probably beyond, not something that's too relaxed. So I'm spontaneous. I like discovering new things, and I'm very inventive and innovative. So I kind of wanted to have something that would gear me towards a profession that would make me utilize that personality. If you're somebody who's very bubbly, social, you can probably get into advertising, or if you're creative, you can do that. You can go to marketing. You can do hosting actually as a profession. So anything you have to consider what's my personality? What do I like doing? And am I an introvert? So are you the kind of person that works well in a lab? That is something that you have to consider. Second, consider your skills. So ganda nga ng photo dito break dancing. I'm a break dancer, by the way. I also choreograph dances. So I used to be part of a crew that did for the Philippine All-Star sample. And then but so that if for example, if dancing is your skill, pwede mo namang isipin din, I want to take dancing, I want to do ballet, or I want to have dancing as a career. That can be possible, but you need to have education. So maybe you can take like PE probably as a course if you really think that that's your best skill, being physically. If you're very athletic, I'm an athlete too. I play football and 44 other sports. So I prefer being out there all the time. Kaya nga din ako nag-engineering kasi may opportunities na umakit ng poste. So yeah, you have to consider that. What are your skills? And that will matter. And like what our first speaker said, it's important that you research where your skill sets and what your personality is and what the careers that would fit into that kind of personality or skill. Third, you have to consider your knowledge, your interest, and your diligence. Now, why am I saying this? First, knowledge. There are people who are blessed to be very intelligent. They're probably top of the class, achievers. They're very good either in science. Somebody else can be good in history. Somebody else can be good in Filipino or English. So you may be not that good in everything, but you can be good at least one thing. If that's the case, then you have to consider that. And not only knowledge, not only what you have, but what are your interests? So why does interest really matter? Because if you're not interested in something, why would you force yourself into it? It's you know they were saying sometimes you make a decision, you want to go into a course because your friends all go there, but are you really meant for that? So you have to consider, is this my interest? And of course, thirdly, it's important to consider your diligence, because if you're going to take a course, something like med, for example, you have to be willing to memorize a lot of those diseases and body parts and anatomy. Or if you're gonna do engineering, you have to be willing. Ako, to be honest, on the third part, medyo bagsak ako eh. I'm not as diligent in studying. That's why I took up engineering, because you can make your own formulas and just, solve through things and not necessarily memorize like you do in med. But at some point, you really have to be diligent enough to study. Everything can't just be happy-go-lucky. But if you're doing a fun course, then if everything like knowledge, interest, and diligence go together, that's going to work out for you. You don't have to be some superstar in terms of your achievements or your intellect. All right, fourth point. Jack of all trades, master of one or more. When I was in high school, so I'll tell you a story. When I was in high school, this is a common saying: Jack of all trades, master of none. Diba? They used to say that. Have you heard that? Who's heard that kind of phrase? Everyone has. All right. So ako, when I was in high school, medyo achiever mode eh. So I studied in Australia for a few years, and there, what they did was everything that a kid could be good at. Their education system actually supported anything that you would be good at. So if you're good in music, if you're good in arts, they're going to support that. Turns out, magaling ako sa lahat. Wow. No, I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but it just happened to be that my parents have a lot of giftings, and they all passed it on to us. I was good at arts, I was good at music, I was good in dance, I was good in theater and sports and everything else. And I was an achiever. So eventually, because my IQ was above my batch, they basically tried to promote me twice during elementary. When I was in high school, my perspective about things was never, they keep on saying you're spreading yourself out too thinly. You have to choose one field. But to me, it wasn't possible, because I couldn't abandon what God had given me. I couldn't just choose one gift and then totally abandon the other. And I believe, I don't know, I mean, like, I read the Bible, and there's this parable of the talents. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. And then there was a master who gave his servants talent according to their ability. And the person who was given 2 talents gained 2 more. The person who was given 5 talents gained 5 more. So, but the person who had 1 talent, he buried it, and he said, I know that I was just given 1 talent, so parang medyo nagsasar grape siya. So, what I'm saying is that if you're given a talent, try, to really work on all of them. The key is balance and time management. Why? Because that's gonna set you out and set you differently in the future. It's gonna help. And I'm probably going to share more on that. But when I was in high school, I said, kailangan jack of all trades ako, pero master of one, at least one or more. So it turned out when I graduated in high school, I had all the awards. So athlete of the year, tas valedictorian, tapos leadership, etc., etc. But then when I graduated in high school, I said, it's possible. So if you can be good in all subjects, it's a good thing, because you have a lot of options in choosing which career to follow. And if ever that you decide to change your career in the future, kaya, it's possible. So in short, be excellent in everything. And if not, then at least be interested in everything. So that way you have more options. Try to be as excellent as you are in whatever gift that God has given you. And then that will set you apart and give you, jumpstart your career in the future. So interested in everything. Why is that important? Kasi if hindi ka naman ganun ka-excellent, at least you're interested, and that is a spark that will start everything. All right. Eto. Involve in extracurricular activities. And that's what I call life. Why? When you're working like me now, there's what you call a work-life balance. What's the life part? The life part is not just staying at home, watching TV, and doing nothing. The life part is actually doing something exciting with your life. And of course, resting is a part of it. But you have to make sure that the life is there. So why am I saying in your stage now that you are students, the life part is social life, not naman over sa social life. Baka kasi hindi balance eh. So, kaya nga sinasabi balance eh. So, there has to be an equal balance between your studies and your life today. So, involved in extracurricular, maybe be involved in community work, be involved in, if you have a glee club here or a dance club, or if there are things that probably support your hobbies and utilize that, involve him in it. Why? Kasi, pagdating sa future, like me now, I'm an electrical engineer, but I actually do, I choreograph dances for concerts and events as a sideline. I teach, I sing in a band, and I play in a band. I sometimes earn from doing graphic arts for some people, and that helps in, you know, earning more money. And at some point, you can evaluate na parang, oy, baka pwede naman. Like I know some people who probably started out as a doctor. They're full-time photographers because that's what they're good at. So it's always good to have something else than just what you studied. Okay, don't be afraid to dream, but don't let pride drive you. Sometimes we're in this, ano na parang, I'll show them, I'll step on them when I'm successful, ganon. So, parang everybody who thought I couldn't do it and thought I wasn't enough, ganito, ganito. So, minsan it's just our pride speaking. But if you let that drive you, sometimes you're driven by revenge or hatred or bitterness. You don't want that to be the thing that drives you and pushes you to be a better person. What you want to do is to use use all your challenges, all your setbacks, use that for you to become a better person. So dream, be a dreamer. Dreams are the only things that are free today. So dream. All right. And of course, never underestimate what God can do. Because with all things, with God, all things are possible. So you have to dream big and, of course, walk and follow God. You know why I want to share this as my 7-point? Because when I was in high school, so I was interested in a lot of things, doing a lot of things. Minsan, ang hirap when you have too many options because you really don't know what you want to do. So parang, pwede naman ako mag-chem, pwede ako mag-bio, pwede ako mag-English na lang kaya ako, gano'n, because I'm pretty good at literature and stuff like that. And sometimes you get so confused. It can be good, it can be bad enough not to have options, but it can be as equally bad if you have too many options. And that's one thing. So I came to a point, sabi ko, sige, I needed to really know what God wants in my life. So I prayed about it, and I felt, and God just led me towards that. Na-challenge ako because in my school, there was a batch who went, people started saying, electrical engineering, flagship, ano yan. And most of the time, males yun ang andyan. Ako dati medyo feminist. Talaga, male course pala to. O sige, gagawin ko yung hindi kaya ng, parang ganon. Parang kala nila panlalaki lang to, kaya to ng mga babae. So I went out and that was one of the things I thought about. But I also considered, what are the things that I'm good at? I'm good at physics, I'm good at sciences, I love, math a bit. And of course, a few other things. I realized that engineering was actually a course that encapsulated a lot of my interests, a lot of my abilities. And it was a good application. Why? Kasi it has a lot of application. You get into power, get into electronics, and even a lot of inventive stuff. So it's a career that can actually be integrated into any kind of business. So it helped me, and I knew that it was God who was actually leading me. Tapos nangyari nun. So I prayed about it. I took UP then was my option, and my school pala, I come from Mindanao, so I studied from Mindanao State University. And then when I chose that course, di ba may mga quota courses? It was the first time in our batch na they decided the science courses that we would take. So I topped the exam. I was #1 in our university entrance exam. When I took the exam, they dictated my course, and the course that they actually gave me was electrical engineering, and I was so happy because it was actually my top choice. So that's why I'm saying that if God actually sets you out in a particular direction, He will make sure that would be clear to you. So you just have to really pray and be close to Him. So I wanna. This is a saying. Actually, this is a biblical verse that says, "Man casts the lot, but the whole disposition thereof is of the Lord's." And that is a verse that what it means. Kung masyado siyang old English for you guys, what it means is, dati kasi they would, alam mo yung parang text na. I don't know if you've been yung naging cards and stuff. So they would throw lots, and the lot would determine what decision is. So yun yung lots, but basically the Lord decides. I'm gonna go through 2 more slides, and this is our tips that you have to practice today, so that you can it will sustain your career and it will jumpstart your career. First, spend resources wisely. What's your greatest resource? Time. So spend it, manage it wisely. Practice dressing up. Why? Kasi in our world today, minsan people just judge us by appearances. So you have to practice that. And then third, okay, I'm rushing right now. I have 2 minutes. It's not ideal in the real world. So it's not ideal, it's real, but you have to make sure that if you have challenges, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And then make friends along the way. That will help you. Of course, have integrity in everything. Don't cheat in class. Be diligent in studying. Go back to why. So why are you choosing this? Why do I want to do this? You have to research. You have to know what course. And then, of course, lastly, have faith, because the God who holds your world holds your future. So whatever happens, He's going to take care of it. I want to close with this. Intention doesn't define your destination. Your direction does. So if you're going to Baguio, don't take the SLEX. That's what I'm saying. If whatever your destination that you're envisioning yourself to, make sure that your actions are actually leading or is directed towards that destination. Right, so I want to wrap up with that. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.